Hello, boys and girls. Mr. Bruce here. Today's book is called Those Shoes, and it's about Jeremy, a boy who really wanted some basketball shoes. We'll see what happens with his story, but first, eyes watching, ears listening, voices quiet, body calm. Those shoes. This is Jeremy. Every day when he walks out his house, he sees a giant billboard with the shoes on it, and the sign says, "Buy these shoes." He says, "I have dreams about those shoes. Black high-top shoes with white stripes. I dream about them every night." I said, "Grandma, I want those shoes." And Grandma said, "Well, Jeremy, there's no room for want around here. Just need," Grandma says. "And what you need is new boots for winter because the snow is coming." Brandon comes to school in those shoes, and he says he's the fastest runner, not me. I was always the fastest before he came along. Nate comes to school in those shoes. Antonio and I count how many times Nate goes to the bathroom. 7 in one day, just so he can walk up and down the hall real slow. Next, Alan, Jacoby, Terrence, they each get a pair of the same shoes. Everybody's got the same shoes but him. One day, in the middle of playing kickball, one of my shoes comes apart. Mr. Alfrey, my teacher, says, "Jeremy, it looks like you could use a new pair of shoes." He brings out a box of shoes and other stuff that he has for kids who need things. He helps me find the only shoes that are my size. Velcro, like the ones my little cousin wears, and they have an animal on them from our cartoon I don't think anybody has ever watched. When I come back to the classroom, Mr. Jacoby, or Alan Jacoby, takes one look at Mr. Alfie's shoes and laughs. So do Terrence and Brandon and everyone else. The only kid not laughing is Antonio Parker. At home, Grandma says, "How kind of Mr. Alfie." I nod and turn my back. I'm not going to cry about any dumb shoes. But when I'm writing my spelling words later, every word looks like the word shoes. My grip is so tight on the pencil, I think I might break it. On Saturday, Grandma says, "Let's check out those shoes you're wanting so much. I have a little bit of money set aside. It might be enough. You never know." Well, at the store, Grandma turns the shoes over to see how much they cost, and then she sits down very heavily. "Maybe they wrote it wrong," I say. Grandma shakes her head. "They're just too expensive." Then I remember the thrift shops where things go for cheaper. What if a rich kid who outgrew his shoes got 2 pairs or for Christmas gave one of them away? There's any reason it could be in there. We ride the bus to the first thrift shop. Black cowboy boots, pink slippers, high heels, everything except the kind of shoe I want. We ride the bus to the second shop. Not a pair in sight. Around the corner is a third thrift shop, and I see something in the window. I wonder what he sees in the window. Black shoes, 2 white stripes, high top, perfect shape, $2.50. Those are the shoes! My heart is pounding. I take off my shoes and hitch up my baggy socks. "How exciting," Grandma says. "What size are they?" I shove my foot into the first shoe, curling my toes to get my heel in. Ugh, I don't know, but I think they fit. Grandma kneels on the floor and feels for my toes at the end of the shoe. "Oh, Jeremy," she says, "I can't spend good money on shoes that don't fit. You'll hurt your feet." I pull the other shoe on, and I try to walk around. "They're okay," I say, holding my breath and praying my toes will fall off right there. But my toes don't fall off. I buy them anyway with my own money, and I squeeze them on and limp to the bus stop. Oh, boy. At home, a few days later, Grandma puts a new pair of snow boots in my closet and doesn't say a word about my two big feet shuffling around in my two small shoes. Grandma says, well, sometimes shoes stretch. Maybe they will. Every day I check those shoes, but I have to wear my Mr. McAfee shoes instead. One day during math, I glance at Antonio's shoes. One of them is taped up and his feet look smaller than mine. After school, I head to the park to think. Antonio is there. He's the only kid who didn't laugh at my hand-me-down shoes. We shoot baskets. A loose piece of tape on Antonio's shoe smacks the concrete every time he jumps. And I think to myself, no, I'm not going to do it. We leap off of the swings, and I think to myself, nope, I'm not going to do it. We race from one end of the playground to the other. I'm not going to do it, I say. Do what? Antonio says, breathing hard. Grandma calls me for supper and invites Antonio over also. After supper, he looks at my shoes. How come you don't wear them? Antonio asks. I shrug. My hands are sweaty. I can feel him wishing those shoes were his. That night, I'm awake for a long, long time thinking about Antonio. When morning comes, I try on my shoes one last time. They still don't fit. Before I can change my mind, the shoes are in my coat. Snow is beginning to fall as I run across the street to Antonio's apartment. I put the shoes in front of his door. I push the doorbell and run. At school, Antonio was smiling big in his brand new shoes. I feel happy when I look at his face and mad when I look at my hand-me-down shoes. But later, when it's time for recess, something happens. Everywhere there's snow. The teacher announces, leave your shoes in the hall and change into your boots. Leave your shoes in the hall. It's then I remember that I have in my backpack new boots, new black boots that no kid has ever worn before. Standing in line to go to recess, Antonio leans forward and says, thanks. I smile and I give him a nudge. And then I say, let's race. Well, that was a good book with a pretty good lesson, isn't it? It's always a lot better to help somebody be happy than make yourself happy. I don't know why, it just works out that way. Okay, did you notice in the middle, we shifted it up and we sort of changed it around a little, so it looks a little bit like a cartoon. We'll be making some of those changes in the future now and then, just to keep it interesting. All right, I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, be good to your folks and wash your hands. Bye-bye.